bala, bala. Nami faham, ham, ham. Dua au re, biuid, biguid. This is going to be a long slug. I'm trying to learn a few things in the native tongue, and my tongue just doesn't want to cooperate. I'm not sure what I said. Anyway, hello and welcome to the Persian Gulf edition of Dave Diggs History. Let me get rid of this. I'll pick it up again some other year. What I wanted to talk about with you last time, in the last episode, I didn't get to do it because, as I explained then, ship happens. All sorts of current events were going on currently, and anytime history merges with current events, you might want to pay attention and defer to the current events. This time, however, apparently nothing terribly bad is going wrong over there. So I want to talk to you about what was going to be talked about last time. More of the backstory to what you see right here. There are several backstories. We may get to all of them some year, but for the most part, this is it, except for a question. One person, my wife, asked a question. We had discussed in the last episode sinkings of Allied vessels who were on Persian Gulf Command missions. And I mentioned the U-boats, German, the Italian boats, they go by name, and I also mentioned the Japanese boats, which go by I. And she asked, what does I stand for? I know what the U in U-boat stands for, Unterseeboot, and I understand the Italian names, but what about the Japanese I-boats? What does the I stand for? And I had to tell her I have no clue what it stood for, but I'd look it up. And here's what I found. If you're talking Japanese submarines of over 1,000 tons, they're called I-boats. Now, anything from, 500 tons to 1,000 tons, that's a row. Oh no, it's going to sound funny. It's a row boat, R-O boat. Anything less than that, it is called a ha boat. Now, ha boats under 500 tons, they're not seagoing very much. They don't carry a lot of fuel. They don't have a lot of range. They don't have a lot of carrying capacity. I-boats, however, they can go far, they can go deep, and they do pack a punch. And curious about the Japanese language, and I'll admit I don't understand it, but if you take the I, the ra, and the ro and ha, and put them together, what you have is the title, Eroha, of a Japanese poem. And somehow or other, there's a relation between one and the other. Being of Western extraction, I'll admit, it baffles me. Maybe somebody else can make some sense of it. But anyway, that's the answer. Now, what about this episode? The backstory. Who, what, when, where, why, and how is what you see here. There's a lot more, but for the moment, this is what's on the camera. First of all, who? I'm portraying a GI of the Second World War, which a lot of people do. World War II reenacting or living history, take your choice. Most of those folks tend to gravitate towards the combat arms. You have your infantry, parachute infantry. You have armor. Some guys own a tank. Must be nice. Some folks do tank destroyers. Some folks do even medical. Now, medical technically is not a combat arm, but if you're out in the front line and you're a combat medic, somebody may be shooting at you. So I'll include that. But the rest of the Army, like for instance the Transportation Corps, I'm not sure anybody else does that. You can tell what a person is affiliated with in the armed forces if they're enlisted by looking at their cap piping. Let's see if I can make this clear. What you see in the cap piping is determined as brick red and yellow. Brick red and yellow, that is the colors of the Transportation Corps. And that's me. I'm in the Transportation Corps. I'm in the transportation business, which is what this is all about, really. At one time, I was a fireman on the Norfolk and Western Railway. It operated between Shenandoah and Roanoke, Virginia, and so far southwest Virginia. I was on the Shenandoah division of the Norfolk and Western. Now, the what is this besides a collection of old beat-up wood, an old beat-up telephone, and a desk, and me? This is, as I explained before, is a transportation and communications center. For what? Well, where we are as far as transportation and communication is concerned, we are a minor station, a railway station on the ISR, Iranian State Railway. I am the station agent here, and this is my office, so to speak. The communication comes from the phone over here because I have to call up and down the line asking, is it clear? Are there any trains coming? Are there any trains going? To make sure that there's not such a thing as a cornfield meet, which is railroad slang for a head-on collision. You do not want to have a cornfield meet with anybody. Now, the when. When is this? Well, we have a calendar right up here with Rosie, and according to the calendar, it's 1942. Now, we've been here. Now, when I say here, I don't mean here at this station. We've been here in Iran and Iraq since 1941, September of 1941, pre-Pearl Harbor. And that's important at the time when we get to that part. Now, where are we in this whole scheme of things besides being in this little office? The place is called Minabab, or it might be Miabab. I'm not sure of the pronunciation. It's a station, a minor station on the ISR. And if you're wondering, well, where's that? I've never heard of it. You're not alone. I've never heard of it either till I did the research for this program long ago. We are approximately 9.7 miles on the line south of Tepe. You know where that is? Does that help any? Didn't help me either when I first came across it. We're 9.4 miles north of Ahudasht. Do you know where that is? You ever heard of it? Me neither until I did the research. How about Bandar Shapur? We are north of Bandar Shapur, about 118.5 miles. That might ring some bells to some of you, perhaps. But you see, Bandar Shapur is the old name for what is now called, you're now in the 21st century, Bandar-e-Imam Khomeini in 1979 after the Iranian Revolution, which put Ayatollah Khomeini in charge. Bandar Shapur was renamed in honor of him. Now, how about Tehran, the national capital? I'm sure you've heard of that, and if you haven't, you will pretty shortly. 457.5 miles south of Tehran, that's where we are. And we're in between work right now. We haven't been here since 41. We're only just now taking over this particular railway station at whatever it's called. I'll get used to it the more I have to answer the phone. They used to run this place, and we are taking over from them, and they are going to go off and do other things. What exactly, I couldn't say. It's above my pay grade. And having done the when and the where, you might want to do the why. Why is this here in the first place? Either under British control or American control. That's going to be a whole new episode by itself because it is long and lengthy and will go back, the story will go back for years. Years when the British were kicking German tail out of Iraq. Yes, that's what I said. The German Luftwaffe, Deutsche Luftwaffe, were operating active air missions against the British from Mosul in 41, before we ever got into it in December of 41. Now, Mosul, to some of you, you may be very familiar with that. And we'll get to that. Now, as far as the how's this all supposed to work? That in itself is going to be another separate episode. There's so much to tell about a place that hasn't had much to tell about it since the end of the war, the 1945 war, that is. And will we get to that, provided current events don't get in the way, and if they do, they're going to take precedence. If there's some sort of active military operation in which the United States is engaged over there, it's going to take precedence over everything else here in the channel. That includes the Schoolhouse Edition and the Medical Edition, both of which are in the 19th century, which doesn't quite fit in with all this. And while I get things straightened out, or at least make the attempt, thank you very much for coming. I hope if you have any questions, you can post them. I will try my best to answer them. And in the meantime, smoke them if you got them. Keep those home fires burning. It's critical to know that we've got some support back home for our efforts. Oh, beg your pardon. Good chow. For our efforts here. In the meantime, wish me luck. Digs out.